Americans are leaving this country in record numbers. And I'm not talking about vacation. I'm talking packing their bags, booking their flights, and leaving for good. In the first few months of 2025 alone.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel. City boy, city boy. All right, you guys. We're over here. It says more and more Americans are leaving and moving abroad. Up double from last year alone, packing their bags and saying bye. This does not surprise me by any chance, but before we get into it, this is Zachary_abroad. If you want to check out his stuff on TikTok, always want to show love to the people on TikTok. Do that call to action at the beginning of the video, but yeah, there it is. If you on TikTok, other than that, I'm Black Pegasus. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Link in the description of my other channels. Let's roll. This is not surprising at all. America is in mayhem. All of the statistics. So I'm learning something in real time right now after the Charlie Kirk assassination, but I'm learning this in real time. So they're saying crime and violent crime is down all across the board in America when you look at statistics and stuff like that. But when you go outside as an American, you're like, bro, what the another thing happened here, another thing happened there. They're like, you're like, how could it be down? Well, I'm starting to see this thing where the way they compile statistics, right? Well, they'll put certain things in certain categories, like there will be a violent crime committed, but in this one, they're going to put it in a different category, or they're going to categorize multiple crimes as one. There's less police officers out there to deal with certain things. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the compiling of this, and I believe this is why when you go out and you're like, yo, I feel like there's this tension and there's more violent and criminal activity going on, but then they're telling you, no, everything's great. Also, the homeless population. You could be living in the suburbs, and you're starting to see homeless people just merging into your world when typically they were in the downtown area. They're on the side of the highways, this, that, and the other. Now, I have nothing against homeless people, but if you have children and you start seeing the things that come with homelessness, like needles on the ground, broken bottles, people yelling when they're drunk, being naked, peeing on the side of the street, all these things that do not need to be around children, you start saying like, yo, there's homeless people on this street too. You're noticing all these things. Political violence, right? They'll tell you it all comes from one side. Then you'll start finding out that they're not tallying stuff from the other side. All of these things seem to be escalating in America. But you know what's escalating the most out of all of this? Inflation. Gas didn't go down when Trump got in. Inflation, frickin' the price of everything. And guess what? The price of everything hasn't gone up in places like Thailand. Or maybe it has, but it's still so much more affordable. It's like, oh, I'm going to spend my US dollar there. I was just in Belgium. It was, the exchange rate is kind of wild for the US dollar, right? So if I want 1,500 euros, that's almost $2,000, right? So I got to give $2,000 to have 1,500 euros. And the prices out there, I didn't think they were too much more different than America, but the quality of stuff you got, like for example, if I'm paying, 20 euros for a meal in Europe, the quality is a lot better than 20. Well, it's not 20. That'd be $25 basically in America for the same meal, less quality. So you do the math there. Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me. I would say I'm a patriot. I love America. I love American tradition, American values. I love capitalism at some capacity. I believe these things work. I believe we can make it work. But with the way, things have fallen, when I was in Belgium, I was like, literally, that was the time where I was like, I just want to travel with my family. And if I could make money remotely from doing content or whatever, I would just bounce for a little while. Straight up. There's too much chaos. But then again, there's a part of me like, do you run from the chaos? Do you fight for a better place for your kids?
I'm talking
But let's hear this brother out.
Americans are leaving this country in record numbers. And I'm not talking about vacation. I'm talking packing their bags, booking their flights, and leaving for good. In the first few months of 2025 alone, the amount of people that just said, I'm done, and moved abroad doubled from the year before. That's not just a blip, okay? That's a wave. So why? Same reasons you and I complain about every day. Cost of living going through the roof, political chaos that never seems to end, and the fear of safety even when you're just going to the grocery store. But here's the thing, it's
I hate to say it, dog, but it's just the truth. Because I'm one of the people, this is going to sound contradictory and hypocritical, and you can feel free to roast me if you want. I will take the criticism. I'm a 2A guy. I believe in our Second Amendment right and being able to have guns, etc., especially in the climate that we're in. And again, America is a society that there's like 400 plus million guns in this country. It's almost like, oh, let me give my gun away so everyone else can have one. It's a very complex subject. But again, I know I'm going to get roasted by someone for this. Feel free. I'm willing to take that criticism. Now, with that being said, with me saying that I'm an advocate at some capacity for people who are mentally stable to have guns, right? I've taken multiple gun courses to even get a license to conceal carry. I believe in that, right? Maybe that you should have to get, make sure you're trained at some capacity. I don't know. Like people start getting crazy about their 2A rights when you start. But like people with mental health issues, having access to firearms is alarming. But anyways, from a person who believes in 2A, has weapons, has trained with weapons, etc., believing in that, I'm not going to lie to you how much pressure I feel relieved when I'm in parts of Europe, not where all the knife crime is crazy, but parts of Europe like Belgium, and I don't have to worry about getting shot. I actually have a pressure off my shoulders and feel a bit of relief. And that's just me being honest with myself and my audience, right? And again, this is from someone who I actually like guns. I think it's fun to go shooting. Guns is the technology that changed the world. It's the great equalizer, right? It makes the smallest woman powerful against the biggest man. Like the concept of the gun is actually kind of fire. And Americans were from a gangster ass country, bro. Think about the wild, wild west and the inception of our country and how gangster it is. So maybe that's one of the reasons I gravitate to it as well. But y'all are going to clip it. Like I don't even want to say that. But anyways, after what happened to Charlie Kirk, right? And seeing what people are saying after his demise because he was a 2A advocate, you're just like, you can't win for losing. But I am being honest with you guys when I go to places like Maui, where there's not as many firearms there. When I've been to Belgium and certain parts of Europe, and you're just like, oh, I don't have to worry about getting shot at the grocery store. There was this dude, I put a video, it's one of the bigger videos on my channel, where I said, I'm going to move because there was some dude who had a road rage incident and just pulled out a Draco in the middle of a normal street in the suburbs and started shooting at the car that made him mad. Again, I told you where I stand. But also raising children in this environment, it just seems like a catastrophe waiting to happen, if I'm being honest. When people are getting targeted at churches and all this other crazy stuff, I honestly don't know what to say. My wife was in Kentucky. They went to church. I'm in Colorado working, and I find out that someone went and shot up a church in Kentucky. I called them to make sure they're safe. They were safe. But that church was not far from where her sister lives. These things don't make me feel better as a father, as a human being, as a person who wants to live in a civilized society without all the chaos. What can I say? These are just my unadulterated thoughts and feelings coming out live to you guys.
not just dreamers or millionaires doing it. It's normal people. It's people with families. It's young people, old people, retirees, people who are working remote. One common thread holding all of these people together is they just want a dignified life. That's why you're seeing places like Greece, Spain, France, Portugal. Their cafes are filling up with Americans who are just done. People love to scream. If you don't like it,
It's kind of interesting because he says that, but those places are protesting Americans because the Americans are going there with their remote jobs, with their high pay, because America is still the best place to make money. Don't ever take that for granted. But America is the place to get your money. But then when you go spend it, it creates a higher threshold of living for the average person who lives in those places. And now they're pissed off protesting, especially in Spain, tourists and Americans. So Let's not leave that out of there.
Like Greece, Spain, France, Portugal, their cafes are filling up with Americans who are just done. People love to scream, if you don't like it, leave. Well, we are, thousands and thousands of us. We will be joining that wave soon. If you're curious about moving abroad, stick around, because we're about to embark on this journey ourselves, and we can't.
See? But I'm telling you guys, this is the thing. Americans are going to places that are cheaper to be at some capacity, or they can afford the living, or there might be, because they're not going to Dubai that I've seen in masses. And that's one of the, I believe, the safest, like Dubai and Iceland are like the safest places on the planet from what I've read, right? And that's really where I would like to be, just somewhere safe, raise my kids in some calmness, not have to deal with all the indoctrination they're trying to float in these schools, and just do our thing. Will we live abroad? I don't know. I don't know. I have to get our money right. Like, I'm literally in America building businesses and companies and trying to get things moving. There's a lot of risk. I don't know what's next for me, but I do understand what he's saying. I'm not knocking what he's saying, but the only reason he's able to do what he's doing is because he has the privilege of being American, from America, with American money, which even that's changing. The American dollar is falling flat, and people are trying to replace it. So we'll see how long that even lasts for these people who are doing this. But I am one of those people who've taken risks in my life, and I'm not mad at what he is saying.
Stick around, because we're about to embark on this journey ourselves, and we can't wait. At the end of the day, people like us just want to make life work. And if we think that we can do that better outside of this country, then who's to say we can't?
I actually rock with that concept, but personally, without putting on too much of a tinfoil hat, I believe there's some type of global agenda, and that everything needs to be kind of globalized. So means needs to be similar. So I don't think you're going to be able to outrun it for too much longer, meaning decade, 2 decades, whatever the case may be. I could be wrong, but AI is coming for everyone as well. There's a lot of things. So just be aware, get your grind on. I was always told, get it while the getting is good. And right now it's still time to get it, because once AI emerges and there's even more displacement, do you think the chaos is going to lighten up when people don't have jobs? I don't think so, Tim. So I don't know. I guess I should be a little more optimistic. I wake up and work every day and work at multiple facets of my life. So I'm not really pessimistic. I'm just a paranoid person. And sometimes that makes me seem a certain way, which it is what it is. Anyways, let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And hey, you guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
City boy, city boy.